Hello, 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 little gremlins. You are now invited to listen to the Poison Tea Party podcast. My name is Kaylee, and I am your host today. I am also in great company with my aunt and my mother. Mom, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Janet.
Oh, was that it? I'm sorry. I was waiting for something else to happen.
I really put you guys on the spot.
I'm Trassy.
We're coming at you live from my mom's basement somewhere in the glorious Midwest. This is only our third episode and my first time hosting. We are so excited that so many of you have been tuning in to hear our bi-weekly episodes. We love your feedback and the encouragement. You guys have made our little dreams come true.
Our little tiny minuscule dreams. And we do it anyway because we're having so much fun.
We just love it. This is the Poison Tea Party podcast, so it's only right I asked what we are all drinking today. Mom?
Well, cue the Mexican music because I'm drinking. I'm drinking coconut mojitos
Because why not?
because I can do what I want.
Delish.
I am not drinking coconut fucking mojitos because, ew, sick. Although I did try it. It's not bad.
It's
okay.
fucking
But-
so good.
I'm drinking Bud Light.
For that ass.
For that ass.
Always and forever. What do you got, Cowie?
Well, I'm also drinking a coconut mojito.
You guys need to slow down.
Oh, shit. Sorry.
We need to slow down.
The rum is gone.
Oh.
No, I'm just
You need
kidding.
to add
What
more.
the fuck just happened? You guys keep tripping me out, bro. I'm like, did it? Where'd it go?
She's not ready for this.
Oh,
Get on our level, motherfucker.
I need to be on the mojito level because
Yes. You're never the same after you have a really good drunk mojito fest.
And it's fine. It's totally fine.
It's awesome. So quickly, grab your electric chair and your favorite poison and listen closely. This episode is going to take you on an emotional roller coaster. But first, I have a few questions to ask these lovely ladies around me. Is there a murder case that has stuck with you guys for many years? Like one you just can't ever stop thinking about?
I mean, I guess I don't really know. I think about all the murders all the time. But I don't know if there's one in particular that has really, like, stuck in my brain that I can't
You kind of,
get
like,
over.
not one that's, like, just kind of so, ugh, like you just...
I mean, there's a lot of them like that for me. I guess there's not really one in
In
particular for
okay.
me personally.
Yeah.
Yes, for
I know.
me.
I knew for her.
Absolutely. It's the West Memphis 3.
Yeah. Uh-huh. I would also agree with that.
That is the most effed up case.
I can't even...
For a lot of reasons.
Yeah. No, I can't even, like, watch shit about that without bawling my eyes out every time.
Yeah, it's terrible. We might cover it, so I don't really want to go into it too much.
Yeah, no, we
People
don't
can look
have
it up
to-
if they don't know what it is, but it is... Don't look it up if you're not prepared.
Yeah. And
Because-
don't look at, like, crime scene pictures
Don't look
or
at the
anything.
pictures of it.
Yeah. You're gonna...
Don't.
Do it.
Just don't.
No.
Can you still remember what you were doing and how you felt when you heard about that case?
When I heard about the West Memphis 3, I had always heard of it and kind of known of it, and I don't really remember how that came about, but I do remember there's several documentaries on HBO.
And didn't they make a, like, show that was, like, supposed to be about that one? Like, the whole case, too?
Probably. I'm a documentary girl.
Me too. I don't...
So I don't know, but I started watching it, and my son was the age of those boys on that documentary when I started watching it, and I was like, that is the only murder thing I have ever watched ever that I turned off.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I never
And
finished
she
it.
never... Yeah, no. We
I
all know
want
that.
to, but I'm waiting till he's a little older so that I can...
I get like
It
that.
was
Process
so
it.
raw and real.
There's
and
a lot of, like, just stories in general, especially murder. But, like, you know, especially when they're, like, my kids' ages, as soon as they say the ages and, like, I know what's about to happen, I have to turn it off because it's too real
Right.
when you're a mom.
And especially, like, you're going to watch that and then you turn it off and then your kid comes walking out and you
Yeah.
just can't help but think about the parent. Like, I don't
And they're
know.
like, oh, I want to go to my friends. I want to go do this. And I'm like, how about you just stay in my house for the remainder of your life?
Yes.
Thank
For
you.
real. Thank you. Don't grow up too fast. So, another question I have is, why do you guys think we become so fascinated by these types of crimes?
I wish I fucking knew.
I know. I was going to say,
It's like,
there is no rhyme
There's
or reason.
no...
I don't understand my obsession with true crime, paranormal, anything weird. I like weird history. I like anything, and I'm fascinated and obsessed.
It's always, like, kind of the same, but it's so different at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, there's always something new. Like, Like,
Yeah.
it's always a very, moment, you know? And I think that that's why I like it.
Right, and they're just fueling the fire with these fucking bomb-ass Netflix documentaries that keep coming out. Like,
right.
Have you watched Don't Fuck With Cats?
The greatest documentary.
Holy fucking shit, I didn't see this coming.
Mom, Dad, and I probably finished that in one night.
We
and
did.
We were all like...
It was a family night.
It
thing.
was.
A
It was
family
awful. We
affair.
had popcorn and everything. It was great. It's, yeah, I don't know. I feel like, I think I get fascinated with crimes like this because I'm really into the psychology aspect of it.
Yeah, me too.
And I think, like...
I went to school for that.
Yeah. I was
yeah.
gonna go to school for that, and then I was like, anywho, swear just kidding, we're not doing that this podcast.
We're not
Too
doing
much
that.
work.
I was going to say, I'm the only non-college person at this table, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah, no, it's...
I'm still smart. I still know things.
Standing. Yeah. So the reason I asked you guys these questions is because this case in particular is one that I have always thought about after hearing about it for the first time. And I'll get into it. But first, we have a disclaimer.
Oh, Lord.
Oh.
So, we're about to get into this episode, and I want our listeners to have plenty of time to decide whether or not they can sit through this story. This case is extremely gruesome, tragic, and hard to listen
Bitch,
to.
you better deliver.
Oh,
with a fucking warning
I
like
was waiting.
that.
I was waiting for one of them to get up and
I'll
walk
be
away.
the judge of that.
It's in big, bold red letters.
For real, this is.
She made it red.
This is business. This is a huge disclaimer and warning to our sensitive listeners that the details of this crime may trigger those sensitive to explicit content. This episode's intent is to educate and bring awareness to our victim Fawn, not to offend or exploit her story. For those who would still like to sit in on this episode, please be aware that this case is very intense and even made my stomach turn at times. Viewer discretion is advised.
Listener discretion is advised.
Listener? Oh yeah, sorry.
Why, yes. You're not viewing us.
You're not viewing us.
Hell
but
no, I'm in my jammies.
I was gonna say, you don't wanna see
In my
this.
slippers.
Yeah.
This top knot is
No.
all the way on the top today.
For real.
It's barely hanging on.
I can barely keep my headphones on. Pushing them forward.
It's about to fall right off. Tea break.
Always a tea break.
Mm-hmm. So are you guys ready to hear about my case?
I am.
Today, we're going to be talking about the Hello Kitty murder. Bum, bum, bum. Meow. Yeah.
I don't know. Was that good?
That was good.
That was good.
Yeah, I enjoyed
I did
that.
my best.
All right, so this story is honestly one of those stories that just leaves you shocked and distraught after hearing it. The first time I had ever heard about this case, I was around 14 years old, and I could never forget it. Information on this case is limited in some ways, but I did my best to just gather all that information and try to piece that story together for you guys.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Thoughtful.
Thank you, guys. So, this story takes place in Hong Kong during the explosive 90s. Hong Kong was changing drastically, and in 1997, Hong Kong would be peacefully handed over to China, which was put in place in 1984 by the British and Chinese after signing a formal agreement in which Hong Kong would be handed to China as China would pledge to preserve Hong Kong's capitalist system.
I did not know that.
I
I
know.
knew none of this.
I knew that.
Oh, thanks. You know what? Go fuck yourself, Janet.
Cool.
Nobody fucking
Cool.
cares.
You're just so awesome.
She's a fucking nerd.
She is.
I'm fucking sick of your guys' shit already. I'm gonna drink mojito about it.
Due to the handover, there was a lot of concern about crime rates, uncertainty regarding Hong Kong's economic crisis, and a spike in Hong Kong's population. Hong Kong was kind of at this point of trying to rebuild and create this new economy, system, and community. So, with a little background of Hong Kong, we may understand how people were living during this time and maybe understand the stress that was going on throughout this region.
The uncertainty
Yes, definitely.
of their something. I
Yeah,
don't know.
Their
their
living
life
situation.
situations. Yeah, their
place.
whatever.
Yeah,
What are we?
there was a lot going on. Who are we really?
What even is this?
What even is this?
Does this mean I'm British now?
Is this a goddamn?
Is this
This is a goddamn...
is this a goddamn?
Fan Man Yee was born in 1976 in Shenzhen. Unfortunately for Fan Man Yee, she
Hold
would
up.
be...
That's where I'm at. I'm going.
That was a good job.
You did.
I know.
You
That
did
was...
excellent.
I came to deliver. I looked up all of how...
She went.
I say all
she
of this
did that.
shit.
Shenzhen.
Shenzhen. Unfortunately for Fan Man Yee, she would be abandoned by her family. She would have to be raised in a girls' orphanage in Matawai. In 1950 through the 1960s, it was pretty common for people to just abandon their children.
It really was, though.
It was.
Yeah.
Thousands of Chinese fled to the British colony of Hong Kong to escape the Great Famine.
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 She just
Leave that in there. No.
Leave it in.
I've been saying all these other words that I'm like, she just went a little extra. She just went a little extra on the Fan Man.
I'm so dead right now. I can't.
This is why I'm sweating. I'm laughing so damn hard. Who am I?
That's like when I said the Amish party.
The Amish party?
We drove by this sign that said Amish pantry, and I looked at my husband and said, I want to go to the Amish party. And he said, what the fuck are you talking about?
If y'all could see the disappointment in my mom's face, she was like, oh my fucking God, right now.
I'm okay.
All right, sorry.
I'm not.
The Great Famine.
Famine.
No more fucking mojitos for you. This Hennessy's getting to me out. No, I'm just kidding. It's coconut rum. Many families would just abandon their children on the streets hoping they would be taken in by orphanages. From the very beginning of her life, she would be failed in many ways and had to learn how to fend for herself. There's a lot to uncover with orphanages in general, but specifically in China, it seems that these orphanages are very intense to say the least. It's like kids being stuck in a terrible daycare, but they can never go home later.
Oh, God.
Yeah. It's, well, worse, but yeah, you get the point. Many kids in orphanages have close to no freedom, support, or personal one-on-one attention. Many grow up with identity issues because they don't have any idea where they come from, their culture, or traditions their family may have. Even in some orphanages, children are not allowed to go outside. There's this organization I found online when I was researching this, and they basically bring separated children back to their families in these different countries around the world. They made the claim that orphanages actually have an institutional culture, meaning lacking a loving home, and they compare orphanages to institutes.
Like a jail.
Yeah, that's like their whole theme of their website.
So here's my question. Why in the fuck would they reunite
I was going to ask that.
these kids with families that abandoned them?
So I didn't dive too deep in their website, but I think that mostly they're kind of helping to bring money in for the homes in specific who lost their kids because of poverty reasons. And then also they can reunite them not with like their parents who abandoned them, but different family
like
members.
Aunts, uncles,
yes,
grandmas,
cousins.
So they have some sort of familial tie.
Because kind of their whole idea is like their family will give them a better life than this orphanage
right, and
will.
they didn't necessarily leave an abusive situation. They left
not always. Yeah,
a place where they couldn't like eat and survive.
Yeah, and that's really like prevalent over there. I mean, because for a long time they had like the one-child policy and you know shit like that.
Is that still a thing?
Mainland China?
I think that they have lifted it now because just all over the world, though, the population is decreasing because you know kids like Kaylee are coming up and they're deciding they don't want to have kids. Whereas you know, for us, it was just what you did.
We had kids when we were 17.
It was just like normal. And then like also in the 50s and 60s, the abandonment really
was a thing. That was a thing in the 50s and 60s. The one-child policy. I don't remember when it went into effect, but it was definitely like around the corner. And so females specifically, and that's why it's so hard in like China right now is because there's a lot more men than there is women. And the reason is because they would drown their babies. They would drop their babies off at the orphanages, but you know, they would just, you know, if you were a girl, you weren't preferred, quote unquote, and so you were left, dumped, murdered. Yeah.
Whatever. So like they already had that
kind
issue.
Kind of regretting that decision now, aren't you, China?
Maybe just a smidge.
So they had that issue in mainland China, and then on top of that with Hong Kong, because they were fleeing for the British colony, they were just leaving their kids there. Yeah. You guys can find more information and really dive in if you want to about that organization and everything that they do at their website called hopeandhomes.org. In China alone, it is estimated that around 100,000 children are abandoned every year. It's said that about 85% of Hong Kong's orphans have at least one living parent, but many parents can't care for their children due to reasons like poverty, marital strife, or drugs. Behind the doors in these orphanages, many sad secrets wait. Most children that are abandoned suffer from severe birth defects or health issues, while parents abandon their children due to poverty and maybe hope that someone will be able to provide medical attention and support. The opposite occurs. There's no medical assistance for abandoned children, and there's an extreme lack of education for them as well, like close to none.
Yeah, and China was the first place to come up with the box, and you can like drop your infant off in this box.
And we have those now, don't we?
We have those now, now, but it originated in China because they were literally like drowning their babies.
Yeah.
So in order to like keep them alive, they did this, but then they had kind of like a boomerang effect where so now these places are so overrun with babies that they can't care for them, and the care that they are getting is not good.
Nothing.
Most of these kids are like almost a year old, can't even roll over or anything because they have to like keep them alive is the thing.
And we'll talk about that too. A lot of orphanages had to put age restrictions in. Because
on the
of
boxes?
That. On the kids, like just in general. So like Fawn's story, the orphanage that she was at, they had a age 15. Like you could not be over 15. They would just kick you out of the orphanage because they didn't have space for it anymore. In China, once a child is over the age of 14, they're no longer eligible for international adoption, and they will either be sent to senior living center or must start to work. The living center is usually most accessible to those who have the health and medical issues and conditions. Back to Fawn. She would grow up in the girls' orphanage and would be kicked out due to age restrictions set in place. She was only 15 years old and homeless. She would become addicted to drugs and unfortunately had to turn to prostitution in order to survive.
Ew. I know. And she's 15.
15.
Yeah.
And we're going to get into that a lot.
It's a different life over there, man.
It is.
Ugh. Fucking sick.
It's sad.
It's disgusting.
It is.
So, when she was just 21 years old, she would go to Romance Villa, where she would continue her work at this brothel in Shamshi-Po, which, if our audience isn't aware, a brothel is just a fancy term for a place where men can come and meet.
Let me assure you, our audience is
They're
very
probably
well
very
aware
aware
of what a brothel is.
But you just go and meet these prostitutes for sex, right?
I'm talking about you, listener.
Mm-hmm.
I know you know what a brothel is.
So,
I would think that they know what a brothel is.
And if you don't, we don't want to be your friend.
We don't want to be your friend. Have you ever watched South Park?
We don't want to be your friend. I don't want to be your friend.
Fun fact, actually really, really sad fact. Nevada is the only state in the U.S. that allows legal prostitution and brothels.
I think it's a great thing.
I'm not completely against it.
Listen.
But I don't want 14 and 15-year-olds
I don't want kids
in there.
having to do that shit.
Or women against their will.
It's very regulated though over there, right? Like they testing that they have to go through, and like they get rated all the time. Like they're constantly like, because they have to be on the up and up, because it's like the only place where this is happening legally. And you know what? Because people are going to do it, whether you want them to or not. Wouldn't you rather the women be safe than out on the streets?
I'm not knocking no women that does that for a job, girl.
I mean, I don't want my husband going to a brothel and like doing that shit, but
a lot of husbands do go to brothels and do that shit, though.
They do.
But I'm talking about the women that work there, though. I'm like, girl, get it. Do what you gotta do. If
that's what you want to do.
If that's what you want to do, then yeah.
Right. But that's why I think it's a good idea, though, is that because they're less likely to be quote unquote pimped out if, it's legal and there is like legal recourse here. They're going in and they're checking on these girls and they're, whatever. Yeah. So if you gotta do it, I'd rather it be legal.
Positive and negative things.
Correct.
For just in general. Fawn would have many regulars at this brothel, and she would even meet Ning Xingyu, a former drug addict that would become her husband. As we can all assume, this marriage wasn't full of beauty, and Fawn's husband would often be described as very abusive towards her. Many neighbors reported screaming and yelling when they lived together in their apartment. However, there was something beautiful that came out of this arrangement, and it was the birth of her only child and only son in 1998. Some sources claim she had 2 sons with her husband, but others suggest she had 1, and for my story...
The other one got drowned.
Yeah, probably. Like, for my story, I'm just going to go along with 1, because it makes way more sense with how this all unfolds. After giving birth to her child, she wanted to create a better life for him, so she would quit drugs and prostitution.
Good for her.
She would go... Yeah, right? Round of applause for Fawn. She would go on to become a hostess at the Empress Karaoke Club, which gave her enough confidence and courage to finally leave her husband.
Of course it's a karaoke bar.
She loved it.
Fucking love karaoke.
Hell yeah. However, it was very hard for Fawn to be able to afford to care for herself and her child. And once again, this part of the story gets really blurry. Some sources say that she just strictly was at that club just dancing and being a host there, but others suggest that she started using drugs.
We'll never know for sure.
Yeah,
but yes, all the information is nice.
So they say she was prostituting and using drugs again.
Yes.
There.
Yeah. when she worked there for a while. This is where the story takes a very dark and disturbing turn. So once again, explicit content. Listener discretion is advised.
There you go.
And proceed with caution.
Great caution.
You guys are gonna hate this motherfucker, and I don't even care. I fucking hate him.
Do I hate him as much as I hate?
Yeah.
What was
McElroy.
McElroy.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
the same
no.
shit.
Am I gonna pop?
It's
off?
probably worse.
She probably is going
Am
to
I
be
gonna
mine.
pop off?
And I hope you do, because I want them to hear how enraged we are.
Tell us about him.
Chan Man Lok was a regular customer of Fan's. He was a very awful man and a proud member of the Wu Xing Wu triad.
She said, "Woo, shing,
Wu Xing
woo."
Wu.
Xing Wu triad.
Just wait. We're going to get into
Just tell me. I need to know
Yeah.
about him before I can.
Yeah. Now, a little
Form an
background on this group in Hong Kong. Wu Xing Wu, or WSW, is known for its super long history with Hong Kong. The Hong Kong police say that the triad is involved in things like extortion, drug trafficking, gambling, and prostitution.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
I didn't know what you meant by triad, but now I understand.
It's like
It's like a
mafia.
fucking
it's
gang.
the gang.
Yeah, the gang. So this group was founded all the way back in 1930. Chan Man Lok was born on May 17th in 1965. It's been reported that Chan engaged in very problematic behavior all the way back to middle school and had a previous conviction of drug trafficking in 1991.
So this guy's like my dad's age.
Yeah, he was in his 30s. As I stated earlier, we got a lot of inconsistencies going here, but I believe that Fan started using meth with Chan. That's how they got so close. And they would often binge these drugs together for nights, days, weeks. So Fan would become a part of Chan's circle and allegedly. It's on.
I know you said it already,
yeah.
but I just wanted to clarify for my own
It
brain.
makes way more sense that she started using drugs
You
with
know,
this guy
the
because
rum.
why would she have been
Because
so
why else?
close?
Yeah, why else would she get drawn into this
Yeah.
if she wasn't doing that? That makes
Yeah.
sense, but it is all technically allegedly because we don't know
really
for sure.
know. And we'll get into it later, but Chan doesn't tell anyone anything. Fan would become part of Chan's circle and started to become way too comfortable with him. She was struggling taking care of herself and her child and made a decision that would unfortunately write her fate. One night, Fan, Chan, and other members of the triad would party at the club and use meth. Fan decided at this moment to steal Chan's wallet. The amount of money would be around $4,000 US. Also, who the fuck just keeps that much money in their fucking wallet?
A drug dealer.
For real. That's
People
true.
that think that they're gangsters.
For real. So, this mistake would cost her her very own life. Chan, being who he was, went ballistic over this. Fan would claim to pay Chan back the $4,000 from her work. However, Chan wasn't happy with this amount and wanted $10,000 extra in interest.
You know, that's how these gangs... Have you ever watched the fucking Sopranos? Okay.
For real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is, you know, she's lucky she didn't get... You know, I mean, I guess I don't know because
Yeah,
I don't
you
know the
don't
rest
know.
of the story, so she's probably not lucky.
No, she's not. So, Fan informed Chan that she would need a lot of time to be able to come up with this kind of money. However, he wasn't pleased with this answer. On March 17th, 1999, Fan Man Yee gathered Ling Walun, he was either 19 or 21 at the time, and Ling Xing Cho, and he was 26. They abducted Fan Man Yee from her home and took her to a flat in Ting Shao Toi, Hong Kong. This building was said to be huge, and their apartment had 5 bedrooms, one of which was covered in Hello Kitty merch.
Oh, those motherfuckers.
This is the room Fan Man Yee would be held captive in.
I'm already mad.
Yeah.
I got
It's-
the goosebumps.
It's about to get really bad right now. At first, Chan's idea was to basically pimp Fan out constantly, until he decided her debt was finally paid off. He had many men come in there at all hours of the day to rape Fan. However, the money was never enough, and he kept increasing the interest on the debt that she owed him.
It would never be repaid. He
Nope.
would just fucking hold her. Once he had that fucking
Once he
power
had
over her,
it was torture.
she was never gonna be let go.
No. The gang started to take out their anger on her and would beat her constantly, to the point where the men they brought in didn't even want to rape her. Many resources say she couldn't carry on her work, but there was no work being done here. She was being raped, and those men who did that to her should also be in prison, but we'll get to that later. We're going to be getting into some of the most graphic parts of this case, and honestly, it's horrendous. Up until this point, there is only 3 members, but a 4th member comes into this story. Are you guys ready for this?
No.
A 14-year-old girl was thought to be one of the worst key members of this entire
What
case.
the fuck does that mean? Like, she's like, what? Hold on.
I'm just over here with all of the ick
Mhm.
feeling. I'm like,
I'm going to talk about her a little bit, then you might
Okay.
process a little bit more why she's here.
Okay. I'm mad already. Just
yeah.
for purposes.
A lot.
For reasons.
Through documents of this case, she is known as Ah Feng, which is not her real name. Her identity is...
She's 14.
Yep.
Yeah.
And her identity has been protected, so there's close to no information about her childhood and where she is now. Ah Feng was supposedly a girlfriend to Chan, but was groomed by
Obviously.
Chan for years. She was a victim of manipulation and abuse by herself. Her role in this case is just very unfortunate and sad, and I think many reasons she did what she did was probably to avoid her own abuse and make other members of this group proud of her and happy with her. We have to remember she was a child
I can understand it, but I don't have to like it.
No, we have to remember she was a child during this time, but her actions are absolutely inexcusable, and I by no means am defending her. Just giving some insight on this situation and maybe some help to understand Ah Feng a little better. However, with this being said, she was known to be quote-unquote ice cold in her actions against Fan Man Yee.
Listen, okay, yes, you're a child.
Yep.
Come on.
Mm-hmm.
I get that you have like gangsters breathing down your fucking neck and whatever, but let me hear it. Let me just hear it. Just tell me so that I can form my opinion.
You're not,
then. I'm gonna be mad. I'm already pissed off. So let's just fucking do it.
Yes.
Just lay it on me.
The exact date in which Ah Feng comes into play is unknown, but when she arrived, the horrific crimes against Fan would only get worse. Ah Feng was known to giggle and laugh while brutally assaulting Fan. She enjoyed being very creative with the way she could assault her. The group often tied her up, punched her, kicked her, and would take turns forcing themselves on her repeatedly. It would gradually increase to hitting her with metal bars, stabbing her with kitchen utensils, smashing kitchen furniture over her, and eventually tied her up while she was standing to use her as a human punching bag. There was even a day where Fan was assumed to be kicked in the head more than 50 times. When her wounds started to show, the group would come up with different methods to inflict more pain, like rubbing spices into those places. It is said that the group had melted hot candle wax over her legs and would even start to melt plastic onto her legs to ensure she wouldn't run away, like tying her up wasn't gonna keep her from running away.
I hate people so much.
The members would also lash out if she didn't smile and suggest she liked what was happening to her. Their little egos.
Please, Daddy, please put more fucking melted plastic on my legs because it feels so good.
Yeah. Right?
Oh my god, I want to fucking punch these people in the face.
So fucking disgusting.
Okay.
If she didn't obey this rule, they would start beating her worse than before. During this time, Fan actually had become pregnant at some point.
Oh my god.
It did not matter to any members of this group, and
because they're fucking disgusting.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Ill.
So, also, we're going to backtrack a little bit here. While she was missing, her family, aka her ex-husband and child, wondered where she went, but there was never, like, a missing persons report or anything like that. So
I mean, okay, but you have to understand, though, this is in Hong Kong. These people are stacked.
Yeah. And also, like, if she did turn back to the prostitution and drugs, which I assume she did.
She had a history of that.
The ex-husband probably was like...
I mean, should he have looked? Probably. But the probability of him finding her...
Very minimal.
And, maybe he did. Maybe he just, like, word of mouth, whatever.
Was asking around, but, like...
Yeah, but, like you said, with her history of drug use and shit like that...
He probably assumed she'd come back.
Literally, the way that they have to be stacked... Like, I just watched this shit, like, yesterday about these people. These apartments are literally not even as big as your fucking bathroom.
I know. It's a horror story.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
They're tiny. They're like a tiny ass bathroom stall.
Yeah.
As big as it is. And you have your whole life in that fucking stall. And these people are stacked and stacked and stacked. So the probability of them, there can really be no blame put on him.
And we don't even have, like, any idea if her ex-husband knew that she was, like, hanging around with the members.
And he may have known, and maybe that's why he was like, they were like, don't fucking blah, 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 know?
We don't know what was going on with that.
Yeah.
But just so people knew, like, they were missing her, we don't know what,
Right.
So the group started getting bored. So they wanted to get more creative in this hell on earth
How
they
the
created.
fuck are you getting bored?
Just fucking wait until I quote Ah Feng.
I'm fucking mad
Some
right
shit
now.
she said, she should be in a mental institution.
I don't care. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
They would often burn straws and stick them to the bottom of Fan's feet, and even would go as far as to start hitting the bottom of her feet with a stick once they were covered in burns. Chili sauce, spices, whatever they could find would still be rubbed into her wounds to inflict more pain. They would throw oyster sauce all over her face and make her eat whatever was left of these liquid and spices that were all over her. Ah Feng is quoted saying, "It was a game they played. If she didn't pretend to be happy, then they would beat her harder. They told her to smile while they beat her. it was a fun atmosphere.
That's what I was just going to say, is because I feel like this is a game to them because they're high on fucking meth. Okay. Yep. So this whole time, it's just a fun it's for funsies.
Yeah.
So I don't want to like give them any credit or whatever, but like, you know, they're not associating it. This is a human fucking life. They're not doing that. They're more like, oh, this is fun. This is fun. This is fun, until it is not fucking fun.
Oh yeah.
And I just can't.
You can just tell how methed out these people were.
I'm speechless over here. I'm sorry, I'm not talking a lot, but I'm just like processing. It's taking me a minute.
It's fucking bullshit. And, you know, and drugs, okay? Yeah. Fucking drugs. Quit messing around.
Don't mess
around.
Because it seriously takes away your, what's the word I'm looking for?
Humanity.
Your
like brain cells,
your
bro.
ability to
comprehend.
To like put two and two together.
Yes.
Okay? Like, duh. I just can't.
Well, you're gonna get really pissed off.
I don't want to get mad.
Fawn became their punching bag and then their toilet.
Their toilet? Did you just say that? Okay.
Members would urinate all over her and in her mouth. If she spit it out. Yeah.
Why? Why would anyone be like,
because they can.
Yep.
I'm so mad right now. My eyes are watering up because I'm McElroy mad right now.
No,
but
I told you would
I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna chill because I'm gonna let Kaylee say what she's gonna say.
After I finish this paragraph, you're gonna need to release it. If she spit it out, there would be very terrible punishments. At one point, Ah Feng had released bowel movements into a shoebox and forced Fawn to eat it all. And Ah Feng thought it was hilarious. They would wrap her up in electrical wire and continue to beat her. It's said that they gradually stopped feeding her, so her only source of food was that of bodily fluids and feces.
So she can be like the human fucking centipede. I don't care if this little bitch was 14 years old. Nope. She deserved to get fucking punished for this.
They should fucking kill her.
Yeah, and
they should kill her.
You're going to be really mad at the end.
I don't care.
Humans like this,
yeah.
Why do we need them here?
If she's already this fucked up at this age, there's nothing good she's going to bring into this world.
Okay, but listen, let's take it back to the atmosphere, okay? So, like, you're in Hong Kong. You're being booted out of orphanages by 15, okay? So, like, you have to think, like, the mentality is different there, okay? So, she may be 14, but, like, in the big grand scheme of things, she's like basically an adult in fucking China.
Yeah.
You know? This bitch knew exactly what the fuck she was doing. There's no way that my nephew, my son, would ever fucking attempt anything like that and be okay with it. They understand right from wrong, and they're younger than this fucking bitch. The thing
with this situation, though, is, like, once again, not defending Ah Feng. Absolutely not. But the thing with her and, like, the difference between our kids and our family is we don't even know how long she's being groomed.
I understand that she was groomed.
And
but at some point, you know, you can be groomed.
You can tell when you're doing something wrong, but that's, like, all she knew.
I understand that.
And she just was like...
But she's just gonna sit back and... There's a difference between, accepting your fate and participating in the fucking bullshit and laughing and thinking it's fucking funny, because that bitch did. Yep. I don't care what she fucking has to say about it. No, she doesn't. Thought it was funny. She's just as fucking twisted as these motherfuckers.
And these are quotes that she said during the trial.
This is bullshit.
And she
But she probably had immunity at that point because she was going to fucking tell everybody's fucking bullshit.
And she didn't care. She had no remorse for
She deserves the death penalty just as much as fucking...
Just as much. Yep.
Kill her.
My sister's just over there being quiet as fuck.
Yeah. Obviously, we can imagine the state that Fawn was in. We can imagine what she looked like during this time.
No, I can't.
She was withering away. She was withering away at this point. However, Chan was still trying to get potential clients for Fawn to make him money. But they all started to refuse to do anything to her.
Because she was probably a fucking bag of busted fucking meat. She probably looked like fucking hamburger meat.
She was probably like...
And stinky and smelly.
Mentally incapacitated at this point, right? Because they're beating her in the head.
Yeah.
Like, her brain's probably mush.
Absolutely.
Her eyes probably didn't even open all the way anymore. Like,
well, she probably can't even respond anymore.
And they were probably
talk,
like,
maybe
this is wrong.
Yep.
Yeah. Somebody with a conscience.
Yeah.
Ah Feng was quoted saying she was broken and playing with her wasn't much fun after that. But we carried on anyway. There wasn't anything else to do. I don't know. Go read a fucking book, you child.
Like, I don't like her.
I don't like her.
She should die.
That's what I said.
I can't. No.
Kill her.
Yeah.
Something to, like, also keep in mind about this entire story as I'm saying all of this stuff, like, these people just went on with their lives. They were watching TV in the next room. They were going to sleep at night just fine. It just makes this case even more just disturbing.
Yeah, they're eating. They're shitting in a toilet.
Yep.
You know, they're
showering, not being forced to have sex with everybody or eat shit.
They're like, you know, they're walking on the street and they're like,
just
you know,
doing
having
their
a good
thing.
day, listening to their fucking music.
They're going out,
whatever.
partying.
And then they walk into this fucking, then they're like, oh, this is my building. And then they walk into this building and then there's this fucking girl there all tied up and then they're all fucking twisted and fucked up. It could be anybody.
Yep.
It could be anybody.
Yeah.
I fucking hate these people so much. Go ahead.
Oh, and another thing about this case is all the things that Ah Feng did to Fan haven't ever even fully been released to the public.
Well, obviously
There's
not,
way
because
more.
there's probably a shit ton of stuff that we don't even fucking know about.
It's definitely a long list, and Ah Feng proudly admitted to that.
I don't even know what fucking page I'm on because I'm not even.
7.
I'm so fucking
She's mad.
I'm angry. Okay, go ahead.
So the group would tie Fan up and throw her onto the bathroom floor one night while they went out to go get drinks. On April 15th, 1999, Fan passed away. The group had been out for a few days and finally returned back to the apartment. Ah Feng would go to the restroom when she would realize that Fan was deceased on the floor.
Thank God for her, because
Yeah.
what a fucking sweet release from all this fucking bullshit.
I'm happy for her.
Me too. Because, like,
I just have no words right at the moment.
even if she did survive, like, what life would she be able to live?
She wouldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, who's to say she'd ever get away from him?
Exactly.
And she never would, but if by some fucking chance she did, like, you know, the repeated blows to the head and the whatever, and even just the psychological shit, fuck the physical stuff. I mean, the psychological...
There's people that have survived some pretty fucked up shit in life, though, and, like, went on to live in a life.
Beautiful lives, write books, educate people on shit, but
this level of like
fucking
torture.
Torture is the word I'm looking for. This level of torture is,
and the people,
and there's multiple.
It's
not like it's just like one person.
That's what I'm
like,
saying. Like if she was able to even get away, and they'd probably come looking for her if she did get away.
Yeah. Whoop whoop.
We're taking a tea break, bitches.
Yeah, tea break. Like, I knew this one was going to be really heavy.
Everybody should put their pinkies up and we should have a toast, a tea party toast, because I need some alcohol after all that fucking bullshit I just fucking had.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm not okay.
All right, guys.
No. Oh, okay. I suppose we have to finish it.
We have to finish.
It's bad, and it's bad. This story seems like maybe it can't get much worse, but the way...
What the fuck? What do you mean it can't get worse? That means there's more, and
it's bad.
Okay, go ahead.
But the way they handled her body after she passed was definitely sickening.
They're fucking disgusting. I don't even need to know what happened to know that they're disgusting. Go ahead.
These men would argue and talk about what they were supposed to do with Fawn's body now. These men could not understand why Fawn had even passed away.
How dare she?
Bitch.
How fucking dare she? Good for you, Fawn. I only wish it would have been sooner for you.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. They came to the conclusion that Fawn had passed away due to an overdose.
Were they injecting her?
I found no information about that.
I bet they were.
But they probably
because it
were.
probably would have made her more
like willing to do whatever the fuck they wanted her to do.
My brain is not working today.
Yeah. This was just all too stressful for everyone, so they decided to go to an arcade and decompress while Fawn's body lay hopeless, cold, and wounded in the bathroom.
I hate them.
They would even come back home and go to sleep. Chan would wake up the next day, get extremely high, and come to what he thought was a rational conclusion on how to handle Fawn's body. He was quoted telling everyone, "Now she must be destroyed." The group put her into a bathtub and divided her body up with a handsaw. They would divide her body into 4 pieces and cook these pieces on the stovetop.
What do you mean?
They Jeffrey Dahmered that shit?
Yep. In their apartment, where they had other people just living in different apartments.
In their tiny little closet house.
Yeah.
Their apartment was actually, quote unquote,
yeah, because they were fucking drug dealers.
Yeah, you said it was big.
They lived in a nice place, but yeah.
Okay. But fuck all the other shit. Like, if you were a cannibal, right? Okay. If you were a cannibal.
If I was a cannibal.
Would your prime piece of fucking meat be somebody that's been drugged against their fucking will?
Ate a bunch of shit.
Ate a bunch of poop. Your poop that you fed them.
My own shit.
Yeah. And then beaten like...
been fucked by everybody.
Tenderized to the max.
Literally.
Is that what we're saying? They're gonna eat her?
No.
No, but...
But they do something kind of...
I'm just saying, like, because she's saying cooking. We don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
so they're
that's
like
what I mean.
Trying to cook her down.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the men weighed Fawn's guts at Ah Feng and told her she needed to cook them down so that they wouldn't smell. They even had Ah Feng look at the head while cooking on the stove and told her to pretend like it was a horror movie, so she looked, claiming she was afraid, but that it did just look like something out of a scary movie. This process had already taken 10 hours, so I guess by whatever sick reason, they all became super hungry. This part of the case just makes me want to fucking throw up everywhere.
I'm telling you.
Next to the pot they were boiling Fawn's head in, they decided to boil some noodles. It is said that they would use the same spoon they were using for Fawn's head to stir their noodles.
Which doesn't surprise me because they're a bunch of nasty motherfuckers.
Yeah.
They probably only had one spoon, Keely.
Probably.
I mean, what are we supposed to do here?
Yeah, right.
Oh, God.
So,
okay.
Once their food was ready, Fawn's head had become nothing but bones. They decided to sew her skull into the head of one of their Hello Kitty plushies, thus the name of this case being born. There's no really real reason as to why they decided to do this, but they did.
So they gave the Hello Kitty a skull, and it was a human skull? Is that what you're saying to me right now, Kaylee Jo?
Yep. And look at your next page.
I don't want to. What is that?
It's the Hello Kitty doll.
Hold on. My page is not cooperating.
So I included a picture.
It's the mermaid Hello Kitty?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, the blood all over it isn't suspicious at all.
That's not
right?
sus. That's not
Not
sus.
at all.
Yeah.
That's fine.
These people are fucking idiots.
Yeah. So the group would keep trophies, or whatever you want to fucking
Yep.
call it. And they would keep some of her teeth and keep her organs in a fridge. I
Like,
don't
why?
know. I don't know what their intentions were.
Right. If you're going to go through the trouble of cooking her down, quote unquote,
Why are you
why are
saving
you
this
keeping shit?
Yeah.
Because if you want to get rid of her, then fucking get rid of her. It's fucking Hong Kong. Go throw her in a fucking, not that I condone this. However, if you want to get rid of a body, get rid of a fucking body.
Like, what are you doing?
They're literally just keeping it around. It's the fucking drugs, dude.
Mm-hmm.
It's the drugs. Meth
that's what
makes
they
you
said.
obsess over shit like that.
Yeah, that's what they said too. They were like, in documents, it was like, at the time, they had a rational reason as to why they were sewing her skull into the plushie, but now it makes no sense because they were just fucking high.
The manic, the fucking
Psycho,
whatever, and then the coming back down later.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's the fucking drugs.
A month would go by, and they all thought they got away with this murder. Maybe they would have if it wasn't for Ah Fung. This is the only good thing this fucking bitch has ever done.
Yeah, but why did she... Let's hear it.
What's
let's
the
I'm mad
reason?
because they fucking...
Just
they pissed
wait.
her off or fucked her
No,
over in some way,
the
shape, or
reason
form.
is so much better.
All right, let's hear it.
So, in May, Ah Fung went to a local police station and claimed she was being haunted by a ghost. She would tell the police... This is Fawn's fucking revenge right here. She would tell the police this ghost was tied in electrical wire and murdered. The police were obviously not taking her seriously, but this changed once Ah Fung admitted to being a part of the group that murdered her. She would take the police to the apartment, showing the mermaid Hello Kitty doll. The entire group would be found, taken into custody, and put on trial. Ah Fung would testify against all the other members of the group, claiming she was Chan's girlfriend, and that's how she was involved. She was asked why she engaged in this activity, and she claimed, "I have a feeling it was for fun."
I hate her.
Yeah.
She needs to die.
Yeah.
For real. This case
Yeah.
would explode in Hong Kong.
Perhaps maybe there was a little bit of humanity, but not.
Nah.
It wasn't humanity. I would call it. She was serving
was-
herself.
She was
Guilty.
being tormented.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had a guilty conscience.
She was serving
Mhm.
herself this whole fucking
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. This case would explode in Hong Kong because there wasn't really anything like this and people were shocked. Something that still stands out about this case is the connection of one of the most heinous crimes connected to one of the most pure and cutest icons, innocence and violence. The trial would last 6 months, and Ah Fung would spill every disturbing detail. It is said that she did this to relieve her guilt and get rid of Fawn's ghost. The fridge, pots, and skull would all be used in the courtroom. It is said that the stench would consume the courtroom.
It still smelled.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I'm assuming it would.
I just can't.
Because they had the fridge where they just left her guts in there for a
Well,
month.
yeah, I mean, for evidence purposes, so they, like, it wasn't a
Yeah.
fridge anymore. It was unplugged. It was sitting. It was whatever.
It's just like, it's nasty because they talked about that.
At least
how-
in the United States, like, shit takes a minute to, like, get to court, so,
Yeah.
you know.
I'm sure it does there too, but
Oh, yeah. Psychiatrists would evaluate the 3 men and would describe them to the court as completely remorseless. However, this case would become kind of messy because they couldn't determine the actual cause of death. Due to this, the men were not convicted of murder.
What the fuck do you mean they weren't convicted of murder?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they can't figure out what the cause of death is because the bitch is fucking, not bitch, Fawn.
The lady is
we
dead.
don't,
And she was cooked down.
Yep.
Like, how the fuck are you supposed to do
Why
that?
in anyone's right mind would, like, someone just cook down and completely destroy this body if there wasn't some
There was a fucking murder.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously, they fucking did some shit. And,
Oh, yeah. So, on December 7th, don't worry,
Okay.
our justice comes into fucking, for once, the justice is like, fuck that shit.
Is it justice? Because I'd rip
It's
their
not.
fucking dicks off right and fucking dangle them right in front of their
that'd
fucking
be some
faces.
good justice.
And then
I
I'd
wanna see
shove
that.
it right
I
in
would.
their fucking mouth
Mouth.
after I was done.
And
Well,
make
does
them,
it make us
no.
any better?
I don't care.
I don't give a fuck.
I don't
and
care.
also, I want to make them fucking make sure they're laughing. Because they got to enjoy that shit.
Oh
No,
my-
I'm mad. Okay, I've held on. I've held on to it. Okay. All right, Kaylee. Tell me more.
Come on.
All right.
Give your Aunt Tracy some fucking...
On December
Something.
7th, 2000, they would be convicted of manslaughter. The jury couldn't agree on whether or not there was intent of murder.
Listen, keep going.
The
before
court
I snap
justice, the court justice, Peter Nguyen, sentenced the three men to life in prison, but the sentence did come with the possibility of parole after 20 years. He is quoted saying, "Never in Hong Kong in recent years has a court heard of such cruelty, depravity, callousness, brutality, violence, and viciousness. The public is entitled to protection from people such as you."
Absolutely.
Hong Kong, unfortunately, did not have the death penalty like mainland China had.
Let
So
them
if
sit with
this-
their fucking bullshit because you know what? I
Yeah.
don't necessarily believe in the death penalty, but I don't not believe in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, because when
Yeah.
you commit something so fucking grotesque,
You need to fucking
you
live
need
in
to
your own
sit
hell.
there and you need to fucking think about what you've done for
And
your whole
detox
fucking
off
life.
of meth.
You know how many times my mom said that to me in
Death
my
is
life?
a sweet fucking release.
You need to
It
fucking
is.
sit there and you need to think about what you did.
You don't
What you've
deserve
done.
a sweet fucking release from this
For
shit.
real. So, Fawn's ex-husband would say he was satisfied by them getting life in prison, but would end his statement with, "But how could I ever forget?" That's, like, really sad to me.
Yeah.
Ah Feng would be released without any charges.
Fuck her.
Yep.
I fucking hate her so much.
She went into foster care, of all things. They couldn't have fucking got her
But-
any help or anything.
How old was she at this time? Was she still 14? So she was going to get released a year later?
Yeah.
Fucking bullshit.
Yep.
Fuck that little girl. She knew what she was doing.
There's no information on her whereabouts, who she is now, what she does, and if she's been involved in other crimes since this one, and I'm assuming she probably fucking
Fuck
has.
her. She definitely has because she knows how to do it now and she knows how to do it smarter
and she
than
knows
she
how
did
to get
before.
away with it.
I fucking hate this. I hate
Yeah.
this. I hate her.
I hope that the United States knows who this woman is
And
and
never
isn't
lets
letting
her
her
in.
come here.
Ever.
We don't know. Nobody knows. It's even like when I was doing research on this case, it was so hard to just find anything about her because it's like wiped everything. So the men would try to appeal this case in 2003, but nothing would happen.
Aw.
In 2014, the courts gave Fawn's family her skull in which they had cremated. Due to the accounts of Ah Feng being haunted by Fan Man Yee, people who believe in spirituality and ghosts started to think that Fawn's spirit was really easy to contact. The apartment building in which this murder took place would sort of become like this meeting place where a lot of people would come to try and contact Fawn. At first, it seemed innocent enough, but then became sinister. So the apartment building in which this all unfolded would be demolished.
She's been through enough.
Yes, exactly.
Leave her the fuck alone.
Exactly.
Poor lady.
I
Well,
know.
yeah, I mean, and then to be like, oh, I'm going to contact her. Leave her the fuck
Leave her
alone.
alone.
Let that bitch rest in peace.
I mean, and that's
She's
why...
been through enough.
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
I fucking hate this shit. Go
The
ahead.
apartment building...
Go ahead and tell me some more, Kaylee.
She can't right now. So the apartment building in which this all unfolded would be demolished in September 2012. It would later be rebuilt in 2016 as a hotel that also has a restaurant in it and is still standing today. Ling Xing-cho would be released in April of 2014.
For what purpose?
His lawyer claimed there wasn't sufficient evidence against him.
Who fucking cares? You were there. You did the shit. You knew the bitch was fucking tied up regardless of if you took fucking part in anything that fucking happened. You still knew that she was there and she was being treated that way. You deserve death.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
not death.
Kill
Though,
'em
you
all.
need to fucking sit there. You need to sit there and you need to think about what you fucking did
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you're a little bitch with a little fucking penis and I hate you.
And
Yeah.
also something that's so
Yeah.
frustrating about this, just on top of the fucking crime he committed, was the fact that he was a part of this triad that Hong Kong is like, oh, we're gonna try to get this to go away, blah, blah, blah. These are serious criminals. And then they just let him back out.
I'm literally so mad that I think I just went cross-eyed.
You probably did.
I'm over here yelling and I'm going,
Why do you always do that when I
Yeah.
take a drink?
She always does that shit.
Like, I'm sitting here screaming about shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I'm very
The bun is slowly falling.
Is it? It is. Oh
my God.
I've been bobbing my head a lot. Go ahead. Tell me some more, Kaylee.
You're going to get really pissed off.
I know I have said go ahead like a
She's
million.
gonna get really pissed off.
Go ahead.
So,
that should be hold on, that should be the shirt of this podcast.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Kaylee.
Go ahead,
because
Kaylee.
I have said it a million fucking times because
need
I
that.
need to prep myself for what's about
gonna
to happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, however, it would not be long before Ling would find himself back into the system. In January of 2022...
Who do you fucking kill?
Didn't go, but, it's just as disgusting in my opinion. He was working as a waiter when he grew up the chest of a female minor, age 10. 10.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm a fucking...
my God.
Right
Yeah.
in front of her parents?
Yeah.
Did the dad punch him in the fucking face?
I fucking wish, but no. They called the fucking cops and he went to jail.
Right. So he really learned his fucking
Forever?
lesson.
No.
Please.
He really...
Please,
He would
forever.
he would be sentenced to 12 months in prison.
And he gets out in 4 with good behavior.
Pretty much.
That little girl's a year older than my fucking daughter.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck is wrong with these people?
Mhm.
This is where we need a little bit of that vigilante justice.
For fucking
Abso-fucking-lutely.
real. Skidmore residents, time to suit up.
Absolutely.
Unite.
We're
Unite.
going to Hong Kong.
I can't.
Get in.
I'm very angry.
So this part I just included because I felt like this was just so fucked up, in my opinion. There were 2 movies made about this case, one being called Human Pork Chop.
Really? Really? Because it's funny. It's funny to, like, say
Give
some shit like that
absolutely
about people.
no respect to fucking Fawn at all.
That is fucking bullshit.
Oh my
The
God.
other movie is called There's a Secret in My Soup.
Seriously?
Are these Chinese movies?
I was gonna say these are definitely.
They're a little different than we are.
Yeah,
I
they're
understand
a little
that.
different. But the Human Pork Chop, I was like,
But the intent is there. Okay.
Yeah.
Come on. Regardless of the cultural differences and the language barrier, that shit.
yeah.
I'm so mad.
But also sometimes things don't translate, right?
Right.
So,
But the number one things that they okay, so seafood and pork. Pork is like the number one fucking thing that is consumed by the Asian culture. So what are you trying to say? I know.
And it's just-
I'm angry and I'm yelling at you.
She's
for yelling at me, I'm being verbally assaulted. Someone come and get me.
But
I'm not
it's so fucking disrespectful.
Super fucking disrespectful.
Like, it's just so...
And I know that
So I wonder
the
if
life
in different cultures, because, there's a million bajillion fucking people over there.
that's what
And
I mean.
life isn't as valued,
That's what I mean. Yes.
over there as it maybe is here. I don't know if that's the case or not. but
Also, like,
feel like it
something,
is.
though, that I
kind of
thought...
seems that way after listening to this shit.
But we talked about like the orphanages and shit
Yes,
like that,
yeah.
and the fact that there is no the family bonds. If you have them there, they are very fucking strong.
Yeah.
If you don't have the
It's
roots,
nothing.
You don't mean shit, and you are disposable.
Yeah, but it's like that here too, to a degree.
To
Yeah,
a degree,
I
but I
would
don't think
not.
it's to that degree.
The thing that I found, like, just to kind of back up our opinion on this fucking human pork chop shit, is I was watching a video of this guy, and he was talking about it, and he's like, one of the movies was called, Human Pork Chop. Get some fucking class. Like, what the fuck? He was equally as pissed off. So I know we're not the only ones who are like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's not. Everyone who reads that interprets it like...
very callous and
yeah. It's just like...
not giving a fuck about
No.
nothing, apparently.
It just seems like it's here to bring in some revenue.
Which I wonder if the people who made that movie have the same mentality of the people that did this to her.
Maybe.
Coming up with some shit like that.
They're probably
for
messing
real.
around as well. We should probably call them fucking methany.
For real.
Methanese.
Methanase. This case would also be featured on an episode of Bones, which is an American TV.
Yep, it is.
And
I
it was...
love bones.
It's a not as...
Never seen it.
It's not no fucking human pork chop shit or something like that. So, this is something I wanted to include because it makes my bleeding heart feel a little better. Every year, Fawn's memory is kept alive with a candle vigil in Hong Kong in the center of the city.
By who?
Just all the people there. They all
So it's not
meet.
just like her husband and like her
No.
child. It's like people
They
that
have
actually.
I'm not sure to the extent of how many people, but I know it's like a big thing.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, people all come to the center of the city and light the candles.
And is this her?
This is her.
Ugh.
And is that her little
That's her baby.
her baby?
She just looks so normal.
yeah, just a normal
I
everyday
feel
fucking
so
person.
terrible.
Like that picture, she's smiling at her son. It's just
Yeah.
like, oh my god.
Ugh.
So,
Wow, Kaylee.
Wow.
I thought we were going to have fun today. You fucking ruined everything.
I really did get mad.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, she did. She yelled right at me.
she did. It's
I
fine.
screamed in the microphone so loud that part might be edited out because I don't even know if it can.
If
Yeah.
it registered on the
if it
thing.
registered.
what was happening. So, that was a lot to take in.
Yep. Yep.
How are you guys feeling about
Don't
this?
ask me questions. Don't ask me questions about things. You know exactly
Yeah.
how I'm fucking feeling.
We know how she's feeling. Mom, how are you feeling? You've been I can tell you're really taking it in and you're like, wow, what the fuck?
Things like this upset me, but this is one reason why I like true crime. I like it because it's one of the things in life that really makes me think deeply.
It makes you value things a little more.
I'm so empathetic, and it makes me use that side of me. This case, it's kind of goes over that. Like, remember in the beginning when I was like, the West Memphis 3, it's the worst case ever. This is kind of up there with that.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
That's what I mean. Like, when
It's torture.
Yeah.
Is essentially what it is.
And when I asked you guys those questions because this case was, like, one that's always stuck with me. Like, I feel like I'm always like,
As it should.
this is just, like,
I never actually dove into it
Yeah.
because.
Yeah, I
you
knew
know.
nothing about this. And which I thought is really weird because I know about fucking literally everything
Well,
I thought.
You know, I was going to do this myself at one point, and I was like, nah, that doesn't sound cool enough for me to do. Excuse me.
yeah.
No.
It's definitely
I'm glad that I
disturbing.
didn't have to narrate this. Thanks, Cowie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
would
was
not.
heavy. I mean, sitting in my bedroom, I'm just, like, writing this shit out, and I'm just like, oh, my God.
Nope.
And even some parts throughout this podcast, I feel like I'm about to choke up a little bit. Like,
It's okay.
it's just
Sad.
so...
It's fucked
It's
up,
fucked
man.
up. And I'm fucking mad still,
Yeah.
so I'm just over here doing one of these.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for telling us about something
That's
we didn't
what
know about, and I
yeah.
probably could have lived the rest of my life,
Life
not
without knowing. But also,
yeah.
Fawn's story deserves to be heard.
Absolutely.
It does.
And-
Rest in peace, Fawn.
Yes,
Yeah.
rest in peace. Fawn.
I hope that her son
Yes.
finds
And
some kind of
I did not include
Yeah.
anything about him. I did not want to research
Yeah.
him. I wanted him to just... It's just like...
deep
she
shit,
has
man.
living family members still. So, like, I just wanted to educate people on this because when I found out you two didn't know about it, and especially you are like a crime junkie.
I know.
So I was like, I gotta fucking tell him about this
I had
shit.
heard of it, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nobody
they call it
knows.
Hello Kitty murder.
Yeah.
So to me, I go,
That's
Whatever.
exactly what I did. And I was like,
Yeah.
it sounds a little.
but it's pretty fucking out there,
But yeah.
and it's pretty grotesque,
Yeah.
man.
And it happened in Hong Kong, so, like, there's not a lot of talk about it in America.
yeah,
It's just how it is, and it was all the way in the 90s now, so other fucking crimes like this are being committed every day still.
it's so weird when you hear crimes.
And if I met those motherfuckers in real life, I would fucking.
It's on fucking sight.
I would rip their fucking wieners off.
Right off,
And I would shove it down their fucking throat.
right down their
Yep.
throat.
I'm sorry.
No, you're not. Don't apologize.
But like when
agree.
you're listening to a case and it's like from 1997, do you ever think I was this old, or I was
Yeah.
probably sitting in class?
I do. I
and
think about
Fawn was
that all
on the
time.
bathroom floor dying.
it's, yeah.
Disturbing.
I think it's important for us to remember Fawn in a positive light, and it made me really happy to hear that Hong Kong honors her memory every year on her birthday.
Yeah, that's great.
I was really...
I'm surprised by that. I mean,
I was like, can there be something, like, decent about this? Because it seemed like when this all happened, it was like, human fucking pork chop and fucking weird
Ugh.
shit. Go to the fucking building she was murdered and try to bring
a
her...
seance.
Yeah.
leave her the fuck
Like,
alone.
It seems very, like, kind of... is malicious
You're making
the
me
word?
mad again. You're
Sorry.
making me mad again.
Sorry. So,
You're bringing me back. I'm going to turn green.
yeah.
I'm turning green.
She's pissed. So, it's just one of those stories that leaves you speechless, very fucking angry. Also, really sad.
That's kind of where I'm at.
I feel like that because
Yeah.
I've already been angry writing it, and now I'm reading it back through, and I'm just like, it's heavy. I can feel it in my chest. It makes me really sad. So I'm sorry for those of you at home that may be feeling a whole lot of emotions right now, but thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you have any thoughts about this case, please reach out to us and let us know. We are a bi-weekly podcast, episodes dropping every other Thursday. We hope to educate and creep you guys all out while sipping on our favorite poisons.
Yes.
You can follow our website directly at thepoisonteaparty.com to listen to new episodes. We also have a Facebook and an Instagram. Facebook is a really good one if you're wanting to see sneak peeks of future episodes to drop. If there's anything you want us to talk about in our future episodes, you can email us at thepoisonteaparty@gmail.com. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode, and I hope you didn't drink all of your tea because, well, you've been poisoned.
Kaylee, that was good. Was it